It's been a beautiful fall day in western North Carolina here in Brasstown. It was chilly this morning, down in the low 30s. We didn't have a frost. We've not had a big frost yet, but in the next several days I expect that we'll have one. Temperatures are forecasted to be in the high 20s and especially the low 30s, so we'll see. I guess Old Man Winter has finally decided to show up. This afternoon I thought I'd take you around and show you what I've got growing in my fall garden. In this first little bed here, I have some kale growing. It's doing pretty good. This is the bed where I had Minnesota midges this summer, and they did really good for us again. And the cattle panels that we put up were perfect for them to grow up. So the kale's doing good in this bed. I'm hoping this is the bed you remember, well, if you're a blind pig reader, you remember that we made at the earlier part of the summer, way back in the spring of the year. So my blackberries are all that's left in it, up there in that bed. And hopefully next year they'll have multiplied. Down here where we put the 2 grapevines this year that we planted, they're kind of looking puny now, but I know it's just because it's this time of the year. But right here in this bed, I have some, I don't remember, I guess that's kale too. You can see it coming up right there. I was thinking I planted lettuce here, but that definitely looks more like kale. And Katie's little herb bed that she had, you can see the nasturtiums, they look kind of a weird color of green this afternoon. Probably did get a little cold maybe on them last night. But you can see we've still got lemon balm, still a little bit of cilantro hanging on. The basil is kind of turning black around the edges, but there's still a little bit. And Katie's harvested a whole lot of it and dried, and oregano back there in the back. This was the bed that we had Bill Burnett's Chinese okra growing up earlier in the summer, and it went all the way over the top. But we've pulled all that out, and that bed's just empty. There's one little ground cherry still growing back there in the back. You can see the first cold frost though will take it out. It's already kind of looking sad. Then in the other half of the arch, this is where again we had cucumbers on this side, and they just did outstanding this year. But down here I have some more kale. You see it's doing good. Different variety than the kale over there, as you can see. And then on this side I have some spinach. It's coming along, but it's kind of struggling more than the kale for sure. Over here where we had the tomatoes, the black cherries, we pulled all those out, and I've got a good bed of kale here, so it's doing really good. Most of the time I plant kale here and it will last all through the winter. It'll survive. Even when we have snow, I've picked kale out of the snow before, so I expect that that'll do good all winter. I like to plant it back here in the back because it's easy to get in relation to the kitchen, but it's also easy for me to pick some for the chickens. They like it too. So here's the Malabar spinach from this year. This is the first time I've grown it. You can see it's just become a huge tunnel of Malabar spinach. Unbelievable. I'm still eating it. I'm ashamed to say that I've not put any up. I've not tried to freeze any of it. I just haven't had time, and I'm not sure that I will have time. But you can see it's just unbelievable. It's just like a fairy tale. I expect that a lot of these seeds, I'm going to save some of them. You can see them right there, a little black. But I expect a lot of them probably already have dropped off, and that they will reseed themselves next year. But even if they don't, I plan to plant it right back in this exact same spot. I have so enjoyed this spinach. My marigolds are still going strong over here in this bed. They're beautiful. They've just spilled out down the bank. This is the bed. Here's another grapevine that we have. It's already trying to go dormant for the winter. And the one down there. This is where we had, the things we had planted in here didn't do good this summer. I planted butternut squash and I planted the Malabar spinach, but it didn't do good over here. I think it was the dirt that we used. But I've got some icicle radishes planted here. Looks like there's one that's big enough definitely that I could eat. I've been pulling some of my other radishes that I've got in a different place and eating them and sharing with Granny. She loves radishes as much as I do. Miss Cindy loves them too. I need to give her some. There's one right in there. I planted beets down here, although it doesn't look like they've done very well. I see maybe about 5 or 6 beets, and that's all that I see. And they don't look like they're doing that great, but maybe they will. So this is where we had the beans, the greasy back beans. I cleaned off this back panel. I've not cleaned off the one in front. It was my stopping point the other day when supper time come. I was at this end and I didn't continue. And I'm not sure if Matt thinks that we will pull these up and plow. That's what he talked about one time, and then one time he talked about leaving them exactly where they're at and just plowing around them kind of and adding, amending the soil on top. So I'm not sure what we'll do, but we loved growing the green beans on them, so I know that's something we'll do from now on. It just worked so much better than anything we've ever done before. I've got some turnips growing right here. My turnips have not done real good though this year. See that one? You can see that one right there. It's just like they just come up in spots. So I don't know what that's about. I see a few more little ones coming up though. Maybe the recent rain we had from the hurricane will bring up the rest of them. Again, I've just got a mound of marigolds here. It's funny, back here in the back I have I think that's a pumpkin that's still trying to grow. These cold nights will take it out though. I wonder if there's a little pumpkin somewhere on it. Maybe not. You can see it blooms over in there. It's trying, but it's not going to make it, little pumpkins. It's going to be too late. Here's another one. Trying to make it. You can see there's a little one. It's just got started way too late though, I think, to actually do anything. There's an even tinier one right there. I did get pumpkins this year though, but this one, I don't know if it just took it this long or what the deal is, or maybe one that actually was volunteering from the year before or something too. This is actually a squash plant that's still kind of hanging on. I don't think it's going to produce anything, and the next few nights of cold weather will definitely take it out. I've got some more beets growing right here, and more marigolds. They're just everywhere this year, and more radishes. These are the radishes I've been already harvesting, eating with Granny. In these places where the beets didn't come up, I come back in and sowed some lettuce. So that's lettuce growing in those little, and the next row is full of lettuce too, and the next row. So we should have plenty of lettuce. It won't make it all through the winter, but hopefully these are cold varieties that do better in the cold, so hopefully I'll get to harvest some of it. I didn't get it planted as early as my kale, so that's why it's not as big as the kale. I'm already thinking about how this year I want to start my stuff in the greenhouse a little sooner. I'm thinking I'm going to start my peppers like in February, maybe even, to see if I can get a better start. We did have peppers. Our peppers did good this year, but I'm already dreaming about February and March, April, next year's garden, thinking what I want to do different and what I want to do the same. That's how it is when you're a gardener though. There's always something to be excited about. New plants, new varieties, trying something different, like the cow panels that we tried this year and we just absolutely loved. So I want to make sure that we do that again, we'll probably even try to add a few more before next year. They just worked out so good. So that's about it for our fall garden. I hope you enjoyed this little peek to see what we're growing. Do you grow a fall garden? Do you garden at all? I hope you'll leave a comment and tell me if you plant things in the fall, or if you're an avid gardener like we are. It's just part of our life. I grew up growing food and putting it up, and then when I got married, it was just natural that me and Matt continue that. So we grow food every year and put it up to feed our family during the winter. It's just kind of a way of life for us, and we really enjoy it. But I hope you'll leave a comment and tell me if you like to do the same thing. I also hope you'll share this video with your friends and neighbors, but mostly I just hope you'll drop back by often as I celebrate Appalachia.